This is music, and this is the Summer of Simon. Welcome to a series within a series. In this sub-series, I guess, of first impressions, I'm going to follow up on an insane VCLT I was sent by none other than Simon from the Pie Face channel. Check out his channel. He shows a lot of extreme metal, has a lot of good fun with feuds with members of the VC, such as No Solution, for example, and he's just a very supportive member of the VC altogether. So he sent me a massive VCLT with more than 40 items in it. So I decided to make an entire series or sub-series of first impressions videos running over this summer. And so welcome to the Summer of Simon, or if you live on the southern hemisphere, I guess the Winter of Wang. Now, he sent me a stack of CDs and a handful of cassette tapes. So in this first episode, we are going to have a look at the cassette tapes. And the two first ones are cassette tapes I already knew because I was lucky enough to also be sent those by Mark G with a C. So first, revisiting some stuff. So this one here, Malediction, the Soil Throne. Awesome green shell here. So my first impression of it was that it was very old school sounding, and I still think it is, but having sort of given it some more, seems wrong to say spins about cassette tapes, some more spools, I guess. I still think it's very old school, but you certainly have lots of more modern sounding elements too. You know, lots of blast beats for sure, all over the place. But they still kind of remind me of like very early Morbid Angel. You had some pretty fast drum beats on Altars of Madness and those classics. So you still have that sort of old schoolness here. Maybe it's just upped a little bit. The guitar tone, yeah, I would still say it has a punchy tone, similar to 90s death metal too. I get kind of, imagine something in between old Morbid Angel and old Pestilence with a slightly modern feel. So this is a great death metal release. There is no doubt about that. So the next one we're going to revisit is this one here, Fennec Throne. This awesome kind of chrome red tape here, or shell. So my first impression of this was that it was quite groovy. That was also my first impression of this, but having listened to it a bunch of more times, there's still a little bit of groove, but not as much. It's still very riffy though, and I still like it just as much. But it's not as groovy as this one. This here is a groovy riff fest when it comes to just death metal. It still feeds my riff face, and it will still feed your riff face, I think, if you listen to it. But you have lots of details. You have some blasty parts. There are some almost epic sounding elements to this, and you have some black metal-ish stuff too. So this one has become more interesting to me. I still think the drums are a little bit too mechanical sounding, but it's a minor gripe. This is great death metal, very riffy, very enjoyable, still sounding quite heavy to me. Just check out the first track. That's a great opening track. So revisiting these two, still liking them more actually than the first time around, but that's pretty normal, I think. Okay, up next, Visions of Horror by Putrid Faith. So this is a genuine first impression. pretty cool looking tape here. It's also out on Macho Records. So are these two here, the two death metal ones. This is also death metal, but this is much filthier and dirtier, and I don't know if this counts as cavernous death metal, but it does have a cavernous kind of feel to it. In particular, the vocals sound like they're recorded in a cave somewhere. And the riffage is pretty primitive, and you do have this kind of maybe claustrophobic kind of feel that kind of feeds into this entire horror theme. So definitely filthy, dirty, nasty, horrible death metal on here. You have some sound bites from horror movies, I think, so that makes it even more horrific, if you know what I mean. So this is enjoyable, but it's not enjoyable in the sense that it's a pleasant experience listening to it. But that's not what he went for. It's a one-man project. The drums on here also sound a little bit mechanical, but I can live with it. So some really filthy, nasty stuff here. It's the kind of death metal that leaves you having to take at least 5 showers. From death metal to some black metal, we have this one here, Weir, I think they're called, and it's called Önach Telton. And I think maybe it's in Gaelic, or some Celtic language. I'm not sure exactly which one. So we're dealing with black metal, not too inaccessible black metal. It's kind of cold sounding, but to my ears it's also a little bit melodic sounding, which I appreciate. Great stuff, very emotional in a way too, and it does have the kind of grandeur, but still kind of solitude kind of feeling that you see on the cover artwork. Does feel like you are in awe at this music, but it's great black metal. I'm definitely growing to appreciate black metal more and more, and I do have a soft spot for this kind of very cold and melancholic sounding stuff. Up next and up last, we have some more black metal, Sun Moon, and it's called Folklore in Medieval Times. Another pretty cool looking cassette tape. So this is the black metal portion of this is also quite accessible black metal, I would say. It has a bit more of a punch to it. The vocals are your screechy black metal vocals, kind of almost in the background, but the guitar tone has a little bit more of a punch to it, a little bit more racer, if you know what I mean. It's kind of straightforward black metal, not too inaccessible, like I said. Kind of maybe a good sort of gateway into black metal. So that's one part of it, sort of the black metal part. Another part of it is I don't know if it's kind of neo folk or whatever it is, but it's kind of a medieval musical aesthetic, and some of the melodies. You have like keyboards, you have like non-rock instrumentation playing kind of medieval sounding music. You do have some keyboards as well, kind of in connection with some of the black metal parts. So it's quite interesting that you have this medievalist folky part, and I don't know if the neo-folk, neo-pagan, whatever elements, if they count as dungeon synth. I have no expertise or no knowledge on that, but you have a combination of that and then straight up black metal. So another very interesting listen. 2 black metal tapes, 3 death metal tapes. It's all enjoyable. Do check it out on your own. If you want some background on the bands, because I haven't looked into that. It's first impressions. I don't do research on first impressions, but maybe you want to do that just to see what kind of artists you're dealing with. But musically, it's all enjoyable, and they're kind of enjoyable in their own different ways, which is interesting. So there you go. This was the first episode of the Summer of Simon / the Winter of Wang. Thanks for watching.